By tomorrow, Microsoft is likely to close the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, but a lot has been developing over the last few days. Bobby Kotick had a bizarre all hands meeting. The FTC is now filing for discovery to learn more about their deal with Ubisoft. And there's a lot to go over, like the fact that the IRS just dinged Microsoft for $30 billion in back taxes. Let's get into it all right now. So first and foremost, it looks like the FTC is looking to get a little bit more information about what's going on with Microsoft's suggested closure of the deal. Complaint counsel motion to extend fact discovery to allow discovery regarding respondents' agreements with Ubisoft Entertainment and Sony Interactive Entertainment, and request for expedited ruling. Complaint counsel respectfully moves the court to extend fact discovery in this matter for the limited purpose of allowing discovery regarding agreements that respondents executed months after the close of fact discovery with third parties, Ubisoft Entertainment and Sony Interactive. So maybe the FTC didn't hear, but it would appear that Microsoft has already addressed most of the concerns and that this case is a huge waste of taxpayer money. But I imagine that they are going to move ahead with it, and the CMA is imminently going to approve it. But long story short, they are looking for more information about what the Ubisoft deal entails and what the deal with, who else did they say there? Sony Entertainment entails in terms of the agreement. Moving on, Tom Warren reported that the IRS says Microsoft owes an additional $28.9 billion in tax for 2004 to 2013. Microsoft disagrees with these proposed adjustments and will pursue an appeal with the IRS, a process expected to take several years, says Microsoft. The IRS says Microsoft owes that additional money plus penalties and interest. The IRS's proposed adjustments do not represent a final determination. Not reflected in the proposed adjustments are taxes paid by Microsoft under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which could decrease the final tax bill owed under the audit by up to $10 billion. So honestly, Microsoft's doing the right thing. They're like, hey, like this is way higher than you're saying. We can knock a cool 10 bill off. These companies just have comical amounts of money. But sort of interesting to hear. I guess we'll see what ends up transpiring. In addition to all that, though, there was the Activision Blizzard post talking about what's going to happen when the deal closes, which has led many to think that the deal is imminently going to close. They said as follows: "It's awesome to see anticipation building for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 as we continue to work towards regulatory approval of the Microsoft deal. We've been getting some questions whether our upcoming and recently launched games will be available via Game Pass. While we do not have plans to put Modern Warfare 3 or Diablo 4 into Game Pass this year, once the deal closes, we expect to start working with Xbox to bring our titles to more players around the world. And we anticipate that we would begin adding games into Game Pass sometime in the course of next year." That's very interesting because we talked about this a whole bunch on Unlocked, actually. You should go check out that episode. That's a whole lot of games that could be about to be entering Game Pass as early as next year, and that would include major titles like Diablo 4 and Modern Warfare 3. So those games could be entering the service very, very soon, and I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it? Here's what The Verge said about the story. Activision Blizzard's latest games will start arriving on Xbox Game Pass in 2024 if Microsoft deal closes. We believe the deal will be closed as early as tomorrow. Modern Warfare 3 and Diablo 4 won't be part of Game Pass in 2023, but there's still room for older games to be coming in 2024. The statement mentions Xbox fans' questions about whether our upcoming and recently launched games, emphasis ours, will be available via Game Pass, but it doesn't address the many existing Activision Blizzard games that were launched years ago and could be added to Game Pass sooner. Wow. So a whole lot of games could be coming real soon. And they go on to point out that Microsoft went out of its way to fix classic Xbox 360 Call of Duty titles in July, just ahead of the original deal deadline, after players have been complaining for years about not being able to matchmake in games like Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And, you know, it was kind of interesting to see that EA fixed up Titanfall 2 recently also. What else do we have here? Oh, yeah. This was a notable one. Let me see if I got my quotes ready, because this is the actual story. And you know what you should add to your collection? This channel's subscription. So hit that subscribe button, hit that bell if you already subscribed, hit the like button. You know the deal. So Bloomberg was reporting that Microsoft had to tweak the $69 billion Activision deal to avoid an EU probe. They wanted to make sure that they weren't going to get a secondary investigation there. And let me see if I have all the Jez quotes up. Yeah, here we go. The European Commission has concluded that changes aimed at winning over the UK Competition and Markets Authority, I got to sneeze. Excuse me. Excuse me. Don't need to go through yet another approval process in Brussels, according to people familiar with the matter who spoke on condition of anonymity. Anonymity, yeah. Such a step would have added even more delays to an on-off acquisition that once looked doomed to fail amid opposition from UK and US watchdogs. They continue on. A spokesperson for the commission on Wednesday declined to comment beyond repeating an earlier statement that it's closely following the developments in the UK and assessing their potential impact. In the EU case, Microsoft declined to comment on the latest regulatory moves. That is via a Bloomberg report talking about an EU probe, should they be adjusting any of the deal terms, but all signs point to that not happening. Things are looking pretty good going into Friday, including this absolutely bizarre story from Jez Corden over on Windows Central. He says that ahead of Xbox's acquisition, Activision's Bobby Kotick discussed Microsoft, Elon Musk's Neurallink, and hinted at Guitar Hero revival in this leaked interview. What you won't believe, though, is that James Corden, no relation to Jez Corden, yeah, James Corden, like the actor, showed up and gave a big presentation to everybody there. What a strange way to talk about things. But here's some of the stuff that was said. Activision CEO Bobby Kotick called an all-hands meeting with Activision Blizzard King staff today, hosted by none other than James Corden and Gavin of Stacey fame. During the meeting, Kotick reminisced about Activision's journey from independent to being under Vivendi and then to becoming a publicly traded company. Kotick also discussed future tech, name-check Guitar Hero, and hinted about what the future of Activision Blizzard partnerships with Microsoft may look like. What is Kotick do? Bobby Kotick he has some weird ideas about what's going to resonate well with employees, right? There's more to this story, though. James Corden asked how Kotick and Activision Blizzard real leadership will retain its culture, which Kotick repeatedly described as magic and special during the discussion. Kotick emphasized his belief that Microsoft wants to acquire the company for that magic represented in the 15,000 plus staff within Activision, predicting that Microsoft will seek to maintain it moving forward. I think a lot of Activision's motivation is that we have these enormous communities of players of 400 million people in 190 countries around the world who are engaged every single day. Kotick continued, I think people at Activision feel this incredible sense of responsibility to deliver for their players. And so I think that's the recognition and that appreciation, that the focus will be rewarded in the joy of hundreds of millions of people. I mean, that's all true. And I think the devs do care about their communities. But what are you doing, Bobby? Like, what are these what is it like working at Activision? It just sounds so weird to me. It'd be like if we had a meeting at my job and all of a sudden some famous actor showed up. It's like, why are you here? What is happening right now? Anyway, continuing on. If you look at the new technology, this is him talking about tech, that are on the horizon, we're going to be able to do things that we've never done before with AI and machine learning. I do agree. I think a lot of people hate on AI. I do think there are going to be positive uses for it, but let's hear what Bobby's got in mind here. Oh, wait. Did I skip one? Yeah, I did. He goes on more about it. Uh, They're going to be do a lot with AI and machine learning. The quality of graphics are now elevated to a place where we're going to need more writing talent and more acting talent because we won't be able to actively fulfill the expectations of our players. Kotick continued. Games are always very different than film and television. In film and television, you are successful by creating a connection that's emotional between you and the audience. Our experiences are more visceral, but it's changing. We have characters on the screen in video games who, with mouth movements and facial animation that is realistic, you're going to have a new dimension of emotional connection that we've not yet mastered. I feel like that's been happening for a long time, but if you've seen any of the technology behind the scene, like with what Unreal Engine is doing, I do agree that the tech's going to get real interesting and maybe even real uncanny valley really fast. I talked a little earlier about physical experience of interacting with something on screen. I think you'll see things like Neurallink. You'll actually be able to interact with things on the screen where there isn't a controller. Kotick continued that it might be a Neuralink, but also an earpiece headset or some other type of sensor. What is Bobby Kotick starts talking about how you're going to put something in your brain and then be able to play Guitar Hero. A big part of what I've seen in Microsoft is research, and they do development in areas that are extraordinary. And so being able to tap into their AI and machine learning, he keeps talking about AI and machine learning. Anyway, we're uniquely situated as a company because we have the very best franchises in video games. Okay. Like, at least he mentioned Guitar Hero. What else did he talk about? Kotick looked ahead to the next 10 years of gaming, reminiscing about transformative titles from Activision's back catalog like Pitfall, River Raids, and Kaboom. Of decades past, Kotick also name-checked Guitar Hero, hinting that it's currently on the path to revival. The reemergence of Guitar Hero and other things would not be possible without the different types of resources, and so, just the endless possibilities for the future that are just incredibly exciting. This feels like Bobby's big going out party. He's like, well, here's what I'm hopeful of. Here's what's going to happen after the acquisition. He's kind of calming everybody down. But why get Cord in there to like announce the whole thing? To me, it seems like Bobby's like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out big. So that's my read on that. Now, I don't know if this is a quote from that story. Yeah, so I think this is the last one. The accessibility that's going to come from less and less expensive processing that will be more widely available and inexpensively available is going to just create more and more opportunities for the amazingly talented people that we have here. He is right about that. The fact that you're going to be able to boot stuff up just by turning on your television is going to be a game changer. I think phones are going to get more and more accessible. That's something I've talked about a lot in about the industry, and I think he's actually right on that. I do think things are only going to get more accessible from here, and that will be an interesting future that we'll be living in. It'll be an interesting future if you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell also, and hit that like button if you're already subscribed. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. That is largely the update. Big get from Jez Corden about a very strange meeting Bobby Kotick held. Thank you so much to the members. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just so strange. Thank you so much to the members for supporting the channel. If you want to support the channel, hit that join button right down there. Thank you so much. Check out my previous video here about everything that's going on, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.